Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I'm your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Libra in the month of February 2019. February 2019. What's going on, Libra? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Any announcements? Not really. Not really. I'm over this cold, this series of colds that I had in January, so I'm feeling way back to my regular self, so yay, I shouldn't have to pause the video. Anyway, yeah. Alright, Libra, I've shuffled off camera to save a little bit of time. That's your main spread there. What we'll do now is shuffle for the outcome and the overall energy. Once all the cards are out on the table and they're flipped over, facing upwards, that's when the reading begins. If you want to check in the description box below for a timestamp, you can go ahead and click to it, jump ahead, and you'll get right into the reading. You'll skip over this little bit of babbling that I do. Also down there, you will find the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. Readings are $25, and the steps are pretty simple. But if you do have any questions, feel free to email me ahead of time as well before we set something up, okay? All right, Libra, let's go ahead and get your outcome, excuse me, for February 2019. I almost said 2018 again. Oh my gosh. Maybe there's something that was going on in your life a year ago that's important to you. All right, February 2019 outcome for Libra. Wow, that was pretty quick. Bottom of the deck's the overall energy. And it came out like that. And you've only got one card that's not revealed. So let's flip it now and let's see what's going on. Wow, bro, what's going on? You have a lot of powerful stuff going on. I can just tell you, energetically, it feels really... it's just very strong, okay? All right, in February 2019, where is Libra? Please show me Libra in February 2019. Please show me Libra in February 2019. Please show me. Okay, thank you. All right, Libra, coming into February 2019, you come in with the Ace of Swords. Are you going to do this, camera? Like, oh my God, I can never get these settings right. Anyway. Please just focus. Thank you. Ace of Swords. Big truths, big time realizations or expressions of truth. You might be delivering these messages or they might be coming into you, but there's just like a whole heap of honesty. There's a whole focus on being authentic, and for you that's super important, or for someone else that is super important, or if it's not important, there should be this emphasis. I shouldn't say there should be. There might be this emphasis that's sort of like a nagging thing coming in from your subconscious, coming in from outside sources, but ultimately, this Ace of Swords right now for you, Libra, is giving you the chance and the opportunity, as they typically do, as aces are chances and opportunities. But this is like giving you like this opportunity to like not be bound to something that was harmful or limiting before, something that excuse me, that was just like not serving you. Or this is for someone else. If it's not for you, it is a general reading. It can go in various ways, so apply it as you see fit. But there's like this very strong adherence to what is the truth, or what is the most authentic way of speaking, particularly speaking, and it does that fits with the swords energy. In some cases, it might have to do with behaviors, but I'm getting like dialogues. I'm getting conversations. I'm getting verbal and written communication. I'm getting text messages. I'm getting emails. I'm getting all of it, right? Phone calls. Maybe you're calling people that you haven't spoken to in a long time, reconnecting with friends and family. And the reason, yeah. And it is about connection, because you have this like electronic or electric, whatever, contraption on the side here. This is the steampunk tarot deck, so there will be these elements of industrialization and innovation and technology. And I feel that there is this need, or there's an emphasis on connection with one particular person or just people in general in your life, Libra. And I feel there's a stipulation, and I don't know who or where it's coming from, but I feel that there's a stipulation. I feel that the stipulation is, listen, from this moment forward, or whenever we are engaged in this conversation about this particular subject, no holds barred. We cannot withhold the truth. We cannot mask anything. We can't sidestep. It has to be met face or head on. It has to be met head on. Things have to be even across the board. And I feel like this is a stipulation. It's not a demand. It's not an ultimatum. I don't feel that this is someone, you or anyone else, being completely irate or somehow, sort of yeah, it's just not a demand. I feel that, and the reason that I'm focusing on this word stipulation is, I think whoever is holding this in their power or holding this in their corner, which for many of you, this will be you, Libra. In other cases, it's someone else. But whoever is holding this and relying on this energy, relying on this power of the truth, of authenticity, they also realize that no one can force anyone else to be authentic, or anyone else to be truthful, or anyone else to be forthright. That's not something you can dictate to another person. You can ask, you can request, you can say, listen, just tell me the truth straight up. I don't want any fluff here. I don't want to be appeased. I want you to tell me what you think honestly. I want to tell me what you feel honestly. You can only ask that of other people. You cannot demand it. And that's why I'm saying stipulation. So the stipulation part comes in, because this isn't, again, it's not coming from this egomaniac, control freak energy. It really is coming from a genuine place of, I just want the air to be clear. And so the stipulation part comes, or maybe it might be better understood as a caveat. It comes in the form of, I plan to do this. I plan to present nothing but the truth to you, or speak nothing but the truth when we discuss this particular topic. If you don't return that request, then I will have less reason to engage with you, is what I'm feeling. Like someone is just like, I don't have to give my all to you. I don't have to be fair and honest with you, or fair and honest in this situation, or whatever is going on. I want to do that. I would like to see it reciprocated. If it's not reciprocated, because again, this reciprocation thing is coming from that contraption there in the illustration. If the reciprocation, the return of the energy, the return of the intention, the return of the behavior and the discussion points, or the tone of the discussion is not returned, someone is less inclined to keep doing it. Okay? So for some of you, it is you. For others, it's someone else, Libra. But somewhere in your dynamic, somewhere in your life, there is someone who's reaching the end of their rope in terms of trying to cultivate a very honest and open relationship with someone else, or a very honest and open mindset or perspective regarding one particular subject. Very general. I'm not really sure where this is going to apply to you, if it does at all. And again, it is a general reading. If it doesn't float with you, if it doesn't have traction in your life, just leave it alone. Now, yeah, man, this person, whoever this is, they're pretty much in their power. They're pretty much in a place where, sure, there's going to be bumps along the road, but they're so invested in not doing something because that's the other thing that has been done before, has been routine, has been sort of the guiding post in this person's life or in this person's personality, is not attractive anymore. So someone's like awakening to something is basically the underlying point of that. Ace of Swords. 8 of Swords in reverse. I'll show you this card upright so you can become used to it. So this person, again, I feel it's like almost 50-50 if I'm honest, which kind of makes sense as a Libra. You know, you represent the scales, or you're represented by the scales, so, you know, it's pretty proportionate. So yeah, again, just apply it to yourself or to someone else if you know sort of the storyline that's going on here. Now, this Eight of Swords in reverse, we would see a decrease in stress, a decrease in distressing behavior or feelings or attitudes, or just like feeling abysmal, feeling trapped, feeling isolated, feeling as if there's no choices here, there's no ability to move. As you can see, she's restricted. She's restricted. And feeling just caught all in the middle of something. You know, the Eight of Swords is a card where each sword, all 8, encircle a person, surround them. And again, for those who might not know, the swords are attributed to our mental capacities, the ways that we think, the ways that we speak and rationalize around throughout our lives, right? And if you're surrounded by that, and each sword is representing that, what does that mean? You're surrounded by your own thoughts of self-doubt, okay? You're surrounded by your own negative thinking. You're surrounded by your own pessimism. You're surrounded by your own fears. You're surrounded by your own anger. Your own. So this person, whoever it is, some of you, it's you. Some of you, it's someone else. This person is like, none of that. They don't want any of that anymore. It's been plaguing them. It's really held them back, really restricted them. And so this reverse position is showing a certain evolution away from that, or a certain waking up to and sort of, you know, taking accountability for the situation at hand. So, okay, and it's right next door to that Ace of Swords, right? So taking accountability. Someone might be saying, listen, I messed up in the past. I made errors. I was depressed. I was overthinking. I was irrational. I was too involved in work. I was too involved in this. I didn't pay attention to that. There's a lot of ownness here and a lot of ownership of what they've done to contribute to the present situation, whatever we're talking about. I'm not getting anything, if I'm honest. Like, I'm not getting, this is work, this is love, this is family. I'm not getting anything. Excuse me. But what I am getting is this transcendence, this very, very, very intentional work, and not even necessarily work. Because if I'm honest, the Ace is the potential of action. This 8 in reverse is showing a release from stagnation. So that might not be so dramatic. It could just be subtle. This is, to me, showing a little bit of stillness and I'm just not seeing a lot of movement. So when I say, God, what did I just say? I don't know what I just said. What did I just say? I can't remember. I can't think of what I just said. Oh, that's terrible. Got it. Okay. So like these that's it. Intention. As opposed to behavioral changes or changes in everyday actions and changes in routine, that might happen. I think that might happen over time eventually, but for the here and now, as in the current situation or the soon to be future, not long distance future, not later this year, like really within the month of February, maybe even March, and that's about it, is what I'm kind of getting, is that the intention of this person, which is reflected here in the Ace of Swords, is to redefine or recalibrate connections and restructure everything so that going forward, the actions taken will follow the intention and the words that have been spoken beforehand. Like this person, whoever I'm talking about, they might practice manifestation, they might practice mindfulness, they might be somebody who has like a vision board, they might have a journal. There is just something that I'm laying this groundwork. I'm putting my wishes and my intentions and my desires out into the universe in some type of way, and then in time I'm going to see these progressive changes. Like this person, I'm not necessarily seeing it super hard, but this person might be slightly spiritual or religious in some type of way. They might actively go to church, actively go to Bible study and prayer circles and things like that. And they're really kind of, I feel this person is partnering with God, with the universe, with spirits, with angels, and they're really trying to make some honest changes that fit the narrative they're about to create. This person is on a mission to create a new narrative, which doesn't, it's the root of it is in some past dynamic, some past situation, some past circumstances or relationships, but it's not anti those things. This is not a reaction to those things purely in spite. This is like someone's trying to be healthier in this response. Someone's trying to, because that ace is just like I said, there's an ownness in it. I messed up in combination of these two things. I helped to create whatever trials and tribulations I went through, we went through, they went through. I am partially responsible for the way this turned out. In tandem, that's what those two cards are doing. Owning the faults. And then that ownership is meant to diffuse, is meant to decrease any type of drama, any type of hardship, any type of setbacks in the future. And this is a choice. These two together are choice. This is not, what do I mean by that? Because everything is a damn choice. But what do I mean by that? It's very conscious in this person's mind. In almost everything they do, they're thinking of this. They're thinking of, how did I contribute to this situation, and how can I prevent continuing to contribute to that situation or to contribute to that energy that wasn't positive before, that wasn't helpful or really progressive before. I want to change away from that. So this is like a 180 for somebody, like a total 180. All right. And it might be really weird for you, for them, for whoever is observing this going on. It's like, what? Out of nowhere, it seems to be, is how I'm feeling. But that's more for people who are not in the middle of this or who are just observing. It seems out of the blue. It seems out of place. But for this person and the people closest to this person, it's very in time. It's very in step. It's very much, oh, well, of course this was going to happen. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, who is this person? They're very settled. King of Pentacles. Excuse me. So this person is a master of sorts. I feel that, if I'm honest, because the court cards are a part of the minor arcana, right? The aces, and they run up to the king, much like a standard deck of playing cards, right? And the king is the highest of the court cards, of the pages, of the knights, of the queens, of the kings, right? So there is this hierarchy involved there. So this person might be the head of something, is what I'm feeling, like head of a household, a boss, older sibling or eldest sibling, a business owner, or someone who is basically the maker of their own, not destiny, I don't want to say that, but they definitely make their own home, or they make their own, there is a route to their comfortability. There is a route that they run regularly, something that they do regularly that ensures their stability, ensures their foundation. So this person is stable in some form or fashion, whether that means monetarily they're stable, whether that means spiritually, whether that means in terms of just where they live. They've lived in the same house for 55 years, something like that. This person is just solid in their position. But they are actually still very much developing, or whatever they're stable in, they want to compile or build something new, or focus on something new, or introduce something that hasn't been introduced before that will complement and add to what they already have. So if they have money, maybe this is like a long-term bachelor or bachelorette. you've never been married, you don't have any kids, you've dated some, or you did have a significant partner, or maybe you still do, but you're just not married. So this person, as much as they've accomplished something, as much as they have something already that is substantial, that they take care of, and that they have an affinity for, a quiet affinity, they want more than that. So what was my whole tirade about the whole hierarchy and da-da-da-da-da? Because the kings are usually viewed as masters, as the cream of the crop. They really don't have much more that they need. But I feel for this person, this King of Pentacles, whoever this might be for you, Libra, could be you, could be someone else, there is this need for more, and it's not a greedy thing. It's more of a, all right, I've exhausted this over here, or I feel really confident in this over here, my job, my family, my money, myself, my spirituality, whatever it is. I feel really confident in this particular area. Now, going forward, I want to approach this new arena in life and learn something, gain something, increase my skills, fine-tune some skills, whatever it is. And they're going to approach it methodically. They're going to be very confident, not very confident, but they're going to know their strengths. If this was down to like a physical activity and this person doesn't have much muscle mass, but whatever the activity calls for, needs a certain amount of muscle mass, needs a certain physical agility or ability, and this person is not fit or is only fit to a certain extent, they're not going to think, okay, I'm going to enter the weightlifting contest, like this local weightlifting, powerlifting thing, if they've never done it. So this person will begin going to the gym or get in with a personal trainer, and they will begin to enhance their body, enhance their strength, so that they can begin to compete in strongman or strong women competitions. Does that make sense? So this person already has a body it does right by them. They can function, but for what they want to do, they need to fine tune some things. They need to kind of rework what's going on. And there's a quiet confidence here. It's not cocky, it's not arrogant, but there is this there is this knowing that they're not perfect. They might come off that way to certain people, like, oh, you think you know everything, or oh, you think you're so cool. And it's like, this person really doesn't believe that about themselves. This is actually a very humble person. And they realize they have more work to do. That Eight of Swords right above them, that's them. I got more work to do. I messed up in these ways in the past. I have neglected to do this. I've neglected to do that. I forgot about this part of myself, or I forgot about this dynamic in this relationship and how important it is. And they are interested in cultivating and taking care of what they have messed up in the past. Okay? And what might continue to plague them into the near future, It all depends. Did I mention? I don't think I mentioned. King of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, so Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So one of those signs might be significant to you, but again, it doesn't have to be. But that earthy feeling is very present here. This person wants to be, if they don't seem that way to you, or you don't seem that way to other people, this person wants to be down to earth. They don't want an ego. They don't want to appeal to the ego. They don't want to come off egotistically. And they really want to come from a place that's grounded, that's solid, that's firm and reliable. They have a fear. I do feel there is a fear for many of them of being coming from an unstable place, whether that's financially, whether that's mentally or spiritually or anything like that. There's something about a destabilization being absolutely terrifying to this person, okay? So, and that would, thank you, because I'm like, why are we talking about that? And that would be something this person would have to be very cautious of and very cognizant of, because if you're afraid of instability, sometimes you end up clinging to something that isn't helping your foundation, isn't helping your stability. If you're afraid, let's say you're financially insecure, Libra, you or someone else. You don't have much. You don't have much savings. You're kind of living paycheck to paycheck. as most Americans do anyway. I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, whether they realize it or not. Anyway, so let's say that's your reality. You don't have much going on for you financially. You would then be afraid, terrified, petrified of losing your job or walking away from a job, even though something inside of you says, this job is not for me. It pays my bills, sure, but I'm not fulfilled, or it pays my bills, but there's not much growth here. So I can keep my head afloat, but I'm trying not to be nearly drowning for the next 20 or 30 years of my life. I really need to work in an area or work a particular career that's going to allow me to save, that's going to allow me to invest, that's going to allow me to, utilize my money to make it grow. So I don't care what job we're talking about. We could be talking about flipping burgers. We could be talking about, capital investments, whatever. This person, because of that fear of being suddenly unstable, suddenly not having any money come in the door, or somehow less money, or it's, they would stick with that job even though they know it's not much growth, even though they know it's preventing them from growing and progressing. So that's something that they have to work through, is I cling to what's comfortable. Earth signs are very much into that. Earth signs love comfort. I'm not saying that this person has to be an earth sign, but I'm just telling you that's what I'm feeling. Is this person loves comfort, as many people would, and is not a crazy risk taker. They might be becoming that. They might be opening themselves up to taking more risks, but they naturally, within their innate personality, they're very cautious, okay? Whoa, throwing cards all over the place. Yeah, that looks okay. And so, I hope I'm not like painting a picture of like some angel or a saint to you, because this person is not. They have the 7 of Cups right next to them, meaning options. Perhaps too many options. Perhaps focusing on the options so much that they become overwhelmed and they don't make enough practical, action-oriented choices. Because up here, there's a lot of thinking and there's a lot of talking with those swords energy. And now we get down into the Pentacles energy and a little bit of the Cups. And that's going to call for a little bit more action in tandem as they work together. Pentacles plus Cups. Acting on your emotions. Acting on your gut feelings or your instincts, your intuitions, right? And this person, as the 7 of Cups would indicate, might be a little overwhelmed or might be doing too much. Either way. Doing not enough, having analysis paralysis, multiple choice. Oh gosh, ooh, and they're sitting there agonizing for like 10 minutes over a freaking question that has like 3 options, A, B, or C. And they're like, well, if I take A, then blah, blah, blah. But if I take B, then I could do this. Oh, though C also has benefits. And they just go on a hamster wheel. And they just keep going over and over and over again about their options instead of making a choice. The other part is there's so many choices. This person might kind of go ham and they'd be like, okay, I'll do it all. Let's do that. Like, let's do option A. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, but we could also do B. I could do that next week. And how about, but C? Oh yeah, and then, we could do that sometime between A and B. Like, this person might be overly, might be a little hyper, might be so intrigued by all the cups there on that display case. Like, what do we got? We've got a squid or a snake in one. We've got fish. We've got dragons. Is that a heart with flowers? A castle? A wreath? There's just a lot of different choices here. A lot of variety. Okay? And my use of the word variety, they're like, hold on to that. I'm like, what the hell? Anyway. So remember I said about this person where you could be very stable. You or someone else, Libra, could be very stable. Living as a solo bachelor or bachelorette for, the past 10 years or something like that. 20 years maybe in some cases. And now I have a nice home. I have money in the bank. I have a nice car. I feel fulfilled. I've traveled the world going on, Now this person, not that they're lonely, but they might want to start exploring the idea of what does it mean to be in a relationship? What does it mean to have a partner by my side to do these things with? So here it is. Boom. Swiping through Tinder, looking on Plenty of Fish, going on blind dates, going on speed dates. and just saying yes, yes, yes to everybody who says yes to them. Whether that's a good thing, whether that's a bad thing, I don't know. And same thing with the analysis paralysis. Whether that's a good thing, whether that's a bad thing, I don't know. But the idea of choices either being overwhelming or being so many that they can't say no, that is how this is going to fall for these people. Or this person, I should say. So the caveat for me here, or the warning here, is there might be a little bit of a disconnect between what a person says and then what they do or don't do. I think this person has strong intentions to be honest and truthful and very authentic with whatever the situation this is in your life. But they might be a little slow to act on those intentions or to change their behaviors that they said, I need to change. I need to be different. And then, you wait a couple weeks, or people are looking at you, Libra, in some cases, and it's like, you said that a month ago and you're still doing this behavior. And there might be just, I don't feel that it's dishonest. I just think this person is just a little slow. That's all I'm going to say. I think that, well, not all I'm going to say, but I think that's really the main focus, is that the change that this person wants, the change that that this person is focusing on, it's just, they're just not quick. Maybe someone is saying, you're too slow, or you're thinking this person is too slow, but I think that is the criticism, or that is the crux of the situation, is the speed at which this person will follow through. That might be a problem for them or you or someone else. I don't know. All right, Libra. So I usually do 6 card spreads. You obviously have 7 here in your main spread because you have this triplet, what I call the triplet. And it has come up for Gemini, I think, this month, and no one else. You're the second air sign, so when I do Aquarius, we'll see if they get a triplet. But triplets usually come and they're usually giving you a supplemental reading. They're giving you something that either supports or reflects or somehow speaks to something going on in your 4 cards. And let's see what's going on in your triplet. They come out ever so often. I was doing readings last year and they never came up, and then boom, they just in succession, like consistently they were coming up. Now for you, might be supporting what's going on here. I'm not sure. Let me get a drink of water here. Hold on a second. Excuse me. I do not like to cough on camera, but considering what I was doing last week, that was nothing. 1 second. Okay. So, a lot of despair and distress and bluck going on in that triplet. I'm not a fan of what's going on there. I feel that it's residual, so I don't think this is like super active in your present moment, which I think this is mostly the present moment, everything we were talking about since the video began. So I feel like this is like background, giving us context of what's going on over here. And contextually, we have some disagreements. We have someone needing something and someone refusing something. Thank you. I was just like, what's going on here? 5 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups. Someone needing something and someone else kind of like arms crossed, kind of refusing, not open, okay? So obviously the 5 of Pentacles, card of despair, card of dire straits, right? This woman with her child, or at least a small child, doesn't have to be her kid, but there's someone who's, I think I'm getting responsible for another person, a parent, a guardian, in some cases like an organization leader, not like a boss, but like I'm feeling like the leader of like a charity, something like that. But someone who has dependents, someone who is looked to for guidance and protection. And that person, the adult in this card, the adult female in this card, and again, whoever I'm talking about doesn't have to be an adult female, but in this card, the adult female here was not able to perform. They felt that way about themselves. That was the criticism they received. That's what other people, secondary to the situation are thinking. But wherever that feeling is coming from, it was very tough, super tough. Like, this is out in the cold, right? Out in the middle of a huge snowstorm, not comfortable. And you've got like look at that. She got her bare arm out in the middle of a snowstorm. You are cold. Okay. You are on the verge of frostbite if you're going to be out there for much longer. So someone was out in the cold, not able to protect, not able to perform, not able to lead, not able to take care of the people that were dependent on them for whatever reason. In some cases, I feel circumstances pulled this adult's attention away from their home, from their kids, from their business, from the charity, from whatever we're talking about. And the child was basically left alone, whatever. And it doesn't have to be a child. Like I said, it could be, a project or something like that. But the dependent thing, the dependent energy was the one that really felt this. I mean, the adult also felt it. The responsible party also felt it. But again, I feel it was like circumstantial. I feel it was like beyond this person's control to a certain extent. To a certain extent, it was the situation at hand. It had to be dealt with in some type of way, and they may have dropped the ball, or circumstances greater than themselves or out of their control kind of dampened things, kind of made things a lot harder. And I feel, what I really feel is sort of in line with almost in line, but not totally, almost in line with the traditional understanding of this card, which is this person needed help in some form or fashion. Money, place to stay, food. If we're talking about, things that are related to pentacles, which are of this physical world that we can touch, taste, feel, and all that good stuff. And it has value to us. So clothing, money, food, shelter, things like that. Time is another one. That's a little bit more abstract, but I love to underpin time because I think a lot of us take time for granted, or we forget that time really is quite important. Like 5 minutes sounds like nothing, but 5 minutes can really make the difference in many situations. So that's what I'm feeling here, is that there was some resource that was necessary that this person didn't have enough of or didn't have access to, and therefore couldn't fulfill their duties or their responsibilities. And there's a desperation here for some people, not everyone, but there is this desperation of I'm up the creek, I got no paddle. Send out a rescue chopper, give me a life raft. Or a lifesaver or something like that. Help me. I'm floating on this river, no paddle, in this place. What can I do? This person feels a little helpless. They were helpless, right? And next door, in terms of positioning on the board there, next door, and maybe in some cases actually literally next door for some of you. Maybe this is like a neighborhood watch kind of situation, or you live in an apartment building or apartment complex, condos or something, and your next door neighbor, like, you needed help, you were getting robbed, or you had an emergency in your home, and your freaking neighbor's just sitting there like, I see it, and it's none of my business. I see it. What can I do? Nothing. Like, arms crossed, literally, in the card. Not being much help. Now, I think the discrepancy here is that this person perhaps feels or felt, if this is more distant past for some of you, but I feel that this person holds the position of, it's not my problem anymore. It was never my problem. It's not my responsibility. I don't have what you need. I don't have the ability, something like that. Or I don't recognize whatever you're feeling there in the Five of Pentacles. I don't recognize what you're experiencing as a problem that needs my assistance. Therefore, I'm just going to sit here with my arms crossed. I'm not going to do a damn thing. Okay? Four of Cups is despondent, right? Apathetic. Acting or feeling, more so feeling, as if my role in this is not what you think it is. What I bring to the table or what I have to offer here is actually irrelevant. Or in some cases, I'm just not about giving it. That's the other thing that the Four of Cups can be. The Four of Cups can be kind of this miserly, almost miserable, and overly guarded energy. So, And obviously with the illustration here, I'm getting this hit of drinking is an issue for this person or somewhere in this dynamic. Drinking is an issue. There's a goblet there. There's obviously 4 total goblets, but we do have one that's full of wine or some type of alcohol. And there's nothing wrong with drinking, of course, as long as you're a responsible adult. But I feel that this person may have relied on or uses alcohol as an escape, or uses alcohol as an excuse as to why they cannot do something, or prioritizing an escape, you know, instead of facing the issue, instead of helping someone and responding to this call for help. I'm just going to sit in my house and have a nice, you know, a nice G&T. I'm not, you know, and that's what I mean. I'm like, they're really drawing me to this neighbor situation where one neighbor, 5 of Pentacles person, was really needing help in some form or fashion. And 4 of Cups neighbor said, that's nice. Or, oh, that sucks. And like, goes to their little bar and just sits down and drinks by themselves. Like this person, and you can't force anybody to help. You can't force anybody to do anything they don't want to do in this life. But I feel that this person really, in their own way, dropped the ball. I feel 5 of Pentacles either dropped the ball or had the ball like stripped from them, like a god freaking interception or a fumble or something like that. And then the 4 of Cups is just like, I'm not even putting my ball on the field. Like the ball stays in the house. Like I'm not even going to play that game. So there's a disconnect between these 2 people or these 2 energies, right? And right beneath it, we have this Queen of Swords energy. Air sign energy, so Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. But again, that's kind of neither here nor there. It's really more about energetically what's going on. And so for this, I feel... put that down, which is a strange request, but okay. What does that mean? Yeah, for both of those energies, and this is kind of going to come as like a reiteration, for both of these people, or both sides of this issue, whatever we're talking about, Queen of Swords is off the perch, is how they're putting it to me. Off the perch, off the pedestal, off the game, right? Queen of Swords is typically in other tarot decks and in her traditional interpretation, she's very fierce. She's very guarded and dominant. She's a woman who has seen a lot, has felt a lot, has done any and everything under the sun. So she's weathered. She's seasoned, right? She's not some new fish in the pond. She's like the old ass algae that's been on the bottom of the pond for like millennia. Okay? Like, and no offense to anybody. This is not like an ageist thing. This is really more about the Queen of Swords is so learned and so experienced in this world that it's hard to get her off her perch. It's hard to get her off her square to be not as strong and not as aware and viable and fierce as she normally is. But as you can see, and especially if you're familiar with tarot, that's not at all what the illustration is showing. This shows a woman who's put her sword down, who is being lifted up from her throne, invited away from her perch, lured away, maybe, in some cases. But there's this invitational, stop doing that, don't be like that, come with me, let's forget about this, let's go here, let's do that. So someone has been or was distracted, was persuaded, in some cases, to do or not do something. And I feel that that applies to both sides of the issue here, if I'm honest. Maybe one side owns it a little more than the other, but both sides basically, I feel, were encouraged to do something that they've never done before, or to do something differently. If they, break a routine, break a structure, is what I'm feeling. They want to tell me also seduced. Somebody was seduced. However that means. Seduction and seducing isn't always about sex or romance or anything illicit like that, anything kind of, you know, titillating like that. Seduction can come in the form, in any form, you know. It's the idea of temptation and seduction. That's what I'm getting. Temptation. Which again, does not have to be sexual or romantic. And the thing about that is it undermines the, thank you, here we go. That undermines the innate natural power of the Queen of Swords. That temptation, that seduction that occurred, that luring away, that suggestion of putting down the sword, not being so fierce, not being so steadfast, not being so rigid or fixed or even laser focused and exacting in their energy, exacting in their behavior, in their words, that undermines completely, just takes away everything that the Queen of Swords is about. So there was, and for lack of a better word, it feels like an attack. I don't feel like it's a physical attack. I don't feel it's like a psychic attack or a spiritual attack, although that might apply for some people. What I'm feeling is it's an attack in the sense of like, what's that called? Like counterintelligence or like spying, like infiltration. Thank you. That's the word. Infiltration. This was a sly job. Whoever got this Queen of Swords, whoever that person is or whatever that represents to you, Libra, whoever did that or whatever did that, sly energy, undetected, very, very sneaky, very much smoke and mirrors or in the shadows, like nobody knew until it was too late that the Queen of Swords had put her sword down, that she was getting up off of her throne and walking away from her power. It was too late. It was too late to do anything about it. Interesting. I don't know. I cannot get a specific. I feel that's super general, and I don't know if that's helpful to you. I hope it is, but I'm just like, damn, what a job. Whoever or whatever got that Queen of Swords off her perch. Amazing. Because that's hard to do. The Queen of Swords is so sharp. She is so, she's a force to be reckoned with. I wouldn't want to go toe to toe with her. I wouldn't want to engage in an adversarial way with her. In a complimentary, let's be bosom buzzies. Let's be bosom buddies. Let's be companions. Cool. But if it was like a thing, and again, I'm going back to this charity thing and the parental thing. That's, if you are copacetic with someone who's the head of a charity or organization or anything like that, or with a parent, great. But when you try to sort of dethrone, for lack of a better word, but and pun intended given the card, but when you try to dethrone or somehow destabilize a parent or the head of a company or something like that, you run the risk of getting your head chopped off. You run the risk of, when you try to come at them directly, you have to sort of, like I said, infiltrate. And I think that's what happened here. Somebody infiltrated this person's life, this person's business, this person's home life, this person's mindset in some cases, since we're talking about swords. And they really did a number on them. And I think it affected both of these people or both sides of this issue. Okay? What is the outcome for February for you, Libra? You have the Devil card in reverse. I bet you can't make heads or tails of that, and not just because of the blurriness in the camera. Please focus. Please do it. Bro. Come on. There we go. How about that? Okay. Thank you. Alright, so I'm sure you can't really make heads or tails of that, so I'll show you upright. Kind of crazy, right? Like that, this devil, he's a beast. But that's a deception. Because I think your outcome, Libra, is about revealing the deception. All masks come off, turn the lights on, bring the house lights up. Let's see it. Let's see the audience. Let's see the orchestra pit. Let's see the people on stage. Let's see the crew. Let's see everything. Turn the lights on is what I'm feeling. Because the devil only does work in the dark, right? The devil can only go far if you co-sign to that energy, whether you are thinking of this in biblical terms or not, religious overtones or not. The devil only has power in the dark. The devil only has power when you are unaware that the devil exists. This card coming in reverse for you, Libra, there's a reveal happening here. There's a relinquish of control in some cases. There is this idea that someone's strength or someone's power is being restored, is being renewed, is being realized, perhaps for the first time. And I like it, but I don't know that all of you are going to benefit from this, if I'm honest. I feel, again, it's kind of 50-50. For some of you, this is great news, that everything will be revealed, that everything will be restored, or there's this restorative power to someone or to some situation. Some of you love this idea. Some of you hate this idea. Some of you are not pleased to hear me say this, that all the truths that we were talking about earlier, perhaps, and maybe some of the truths that were missing here, or kind of an issue here in your triplet, all that stuff is coming out. The laundry, fly it out the window. Dirty or clean, it's going out. And everybody's going to see it. And everybody's going to hear it. And everybody's going to talk about it. And you don't like that. Some of you. Others of you are like, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right? Card of Capricorn, also, major arcana for the Capricorns. So you might have a Capricorn who is significant to you, Libra, but it does not have to be. And for those who like, I can't really get into that. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. Because I was going to say, like, for those who are okay with it and those who are not okay with it, it doesn't really matter. The point is, this thing that existed before in this when the devil card was upright, whatever existed before was dark, restricting, detrimental, damaging, all that good stuff. Now that it's in reverse, we're getting away from that. In whatever form or fashion that's going to occur, I don't know. But there is just like this driving force that moves away from that bleak, dark, controlling, and restricting energy. In some cases, it might be a person or people or situations, because we do talk also that the devil card can talk about obsessions and addictions. And that to me would be good, to walk away from obsessions or to somehow get over addictions or conquer them or somehow, make headway with them. That makes sense. That's great. But again, for some people, even in those two cases of obsession and addiction, that's not what you want to hear. Some of you don't like that. Maybe you're a drug dealer, for God's sakes. Maybe you are the one who's handing someone their addiction. Maybe someone was obsessed with you and you like that. Maybe that fed your ego. And now that they're no longer obsessed with you, no longer calling you, no longer texting you, no longer, hitting you up every day, asking you what you're doing, maybe they're being more independent, whatever. Now your ego's going to be like, oh, did they really like me? Did I do something wrong? Or, oh man, they realize I'm not as cool as I said I was. Oh, okay. So it's going to go in many different ways for all of you guys. There are usually at least dozens of you guys that watch these videos. And of course, I think, just on my interpretation of myself as a reader and what most readers do, in whether they're reading tarot on YouTube or in real life, is there are different pathways, different conduits, or different lines of energy, different cables, like an electrical cable or what do you call that? A fuse. There are different fuses, like you would see in a fuse box. And different tarot readers are responsible for different fuse switches. Maybe I'm lighting the kitchen. Another tarot reader, they light the garage. Another tarot reader, they light the bedrooms and the bathrooms. You know what I mean? And depending on what you need to know, maybe you need to come to me because I'm lighting the kitchen in your life, whatever the hell that is. And maybe this message applies to you. If it doesn't, then maybe you need to go find a reader who's lighting the bedroom, and that reading will apply to you. I don't know why I went with that analogy. I don't know why I had to quantify or qualify that right now, but that's it. Now, your overall energy, you have the World card, major arcana, the World card. So, endings and beginnings, right? Beginnings and endings, however you want to think of it. What's starting is stopping, what's stopping is starting, something like that. You've got that big gear in the back there. Again, this is the steampunk tarot, so that's kind of like obvious that they would use that, but I do get this sense of things are churning and turning like you would see like in a clock or a watch or some type of huge industrial machine that would have huge cogs and gears like this back in the day. And what does that mean? One, it's not going to go any slower or faster than it needs to. The world card is precision in time. It doesn't feel like it for us here, mortal beings on Earth. Sometimes things come too quickly. Some things don't come quick enough. And we're like, oh man, I could have used this last week. Or, oh my God, this is happening way too fast. You know, that is a phenomenon that comes over all of us, right? But in the terms of the universe, in terms of spiritual worlds and religious understandings and whatever you're thinking that's up above your head, whether you believe in it or not, to that perspective, or from that perspective, it's all a well-oiled machine. It's precise. It's exactly what it needs to be. So whatever this is, how it affects you, good or bad, whether you're elated by this message, whether you abhor this message, it's on time. Whatever's happening in your life, the unfolding of something, the beginning of something, on time. Okay? Also deals with the fixed signs. So that's, oh my God, I'm gonna blank. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Those are the fixed signs. And fixed signs are definitely into right place, right time. They don't want things happening too soon, and they don't want things happening too late. They like it right down the middle, okay? And there is also, with the fixed signs, this idea of fixity, rigidity, is that what I want to say? Adherence is what I want to say. Adherence. Fixed signs are very good at adhering to the rules and the regulations. So good at it. Perhaps too good. Okay. And that's not a dig at them, and that's not a dig at either the cardinal signs or the mutable signs. That's just the way it is. Very good at sticking to a plan, sticking to protocol, and following through on things. Super good at that. And the world card, again, kind of talks about that, but, you know, it's more in a rhythmic, cyclical kind of way. You know, time, precision, gears turning. Fixed signs are totally into that. Like, yes, oh my God, this is happening. But again, if it happens too soon, no. If it happens too late, they're bummed, they're upset, blah, 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 blah. And again, I'm saying that about the signs. You don't have to know any fixed signs that are significant to you, but that's like another aspect of that world card. Okay? All right, Libra, that is your reading for February 2019. I hope you liked it. If you did, down below, there is a like button. Hit it, click it, smash it, bash it. I don't know why I'm saying all that. Also down there, you're going to find the share button if you want to share this video across your social media platforms and let other people know about my channel. That would be amazing. You can also leave comments down below. I love to read about how these readings reflect in your lives and how they resonate with you. It gives me confirmation. It keeps me going. It's like the clapping for Tinkerbell or the spinach of Popeye. It strengthens me. It gives me more drive to continue to do it. Okay, so if you want to give me a little bit of a feedback, I'd love to hear it. Also down there is the subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, why is that? Do you keep coming back here like every month looking at these videos and you're just like, oh, that was nice, and then you leave? And you don't, you know, leave me a little subscription or a like or anything like that? Come on, guys. Please. That's it. That's my spiel. If you don't want to do any of that stuff, I totally understand. I absolutely respect everybody's life choice. You do not have to do any of those things if you don't want to, okay? Now, and the other part of the subscription is I hope to, by the spring, introduce at least one other form of reading for the channel. I'm kind of working on it now. I'm thinking about it, thinking of how to design it, and it's not going to be elaborate. You know, this table is only so big. So it's not going to be this huge thing that I'm doing, but I'm kind of trying to figure out what I feel most people who are subscribed to my channel and following me and what I feel energetically I'm led to do. I'm trying to kind of iron all that out. And by springtime, I hope to launch something. And if you're subscribed and you hit the notification button, then you're just going to see all that stuff when it comes into your YouTube feed. So you don't have to, you know, listen to this whole long outro to know what's going on, because you'll already be in the club and you'll already know about it, okay? All right, guys, so that's your reading. I'm going to be back in about 3 weeks' time, hopefully, when I bring you your March 2019 readings. Until then, guys, I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.